Hello and welcome to episode 129 of Rivers Arcade Review. My name is Ed. This channel is dedicated to the coin-operated video games of yesteryear. Today I'll be reviewing a random game, Donkey Kong 2 Jumpman Returns. Donkey Kong 2 Jumpman Returns was released in 2006 by Braze Technologies. My first time playing this game was on MAME. Donkey Kong 2 Jumpman Returns is an unofficial sequel to Donkey Kong as well as a hack of the original game. This game was created and programmed by Jeff Kulczycki. This game added 4 new stages as well as modifying the original 4. Some were minor tweaks and some were major overhauls. The game begins with Kong being lifted to the top of the structure via an elevator system. Kong is carrying Pauline on his shoulder the entire ride up. When the elevator reaches the top of the structure, Kong will jump to the top girder and will place Pauline on the top platform. After placing Pauline, Kong will jump 6 times to the left, then will growl at you just like the original game. After the beginning scene, the How High Can You Get cut screen will show, although now it will be a new design. The screen will now consist of a tan-colored structure. This structure will have a solid girder across the bottom and 7 girders that will cover just over half the width of the screen in a staggered formation. Each stage, Kong will move up one of these girders, as well as the number of meters will increase in increments of 25. Only one image of Kong will appear at a time as opposed to images stacked like the original game. Just like the original game, there will be a bonus timer in which you need to complete the round in. The timer will click off 100 points approximately every 2 seconds. Once the timer reaches 900 points, the timer will turn the same color as the primary color of the playfield. There will also be a warning signal playing when the timer reaches 900. If the timer reaches 0, you will have about 4 seconds to complete the round or you will automatically lose a life. The first stage will be one of the new designs. This stage is called the Foundry Stage. This level's color scheme will be blue. Just like the original game, you will always begin in the lower left corner of the playfield. The first level consists of a girder with 4 large gaps in it. In between these gaps there will be large fires. To the far right will be Pauline's hat, which you can collect for bonus points. You can safely jump over these fires, although due to the ladder layout, you can skip this portion altogether. The first level will have the ladder on the far left area of the girder. The second level will look the same as the first, although there won't be fire in the gaps. This level will have the ladder on the far right of the girder. The third level consists of 2 sets of horizontal moving platforms. The top set of platforms will move to the right and the bottom set of platforms will move to the left. You need to carefully maneuver through these platforms in order to make it to the left side of the level. Now the ladder will be on the left side. The fourth level will be identical to the third, although the platforms will now be moving in the opposite direction. You must traverse your way to get to the right side of the level. Once you reach the top level, you need to jump 2 large gaps and climb the ladder to reach Pauline, although now there will be a fireball patrolling the final section. Once you climb up to Pauline's level, a pink heart will appear between the two of you. After this happens, Kong will growl and grab Pauline and take her upward and the heart will break in 2. After this, the How High Can You Get cut screen will appear again, and now Kong will be on the second level and the display will count up from 25 to 50 meters. The second round will be the girder or ramp stage and will play identical to the original game. Clearing this round will bring you to another cut screen in which Pauline will be walking to the right and then Kong will appear and Pauline will run to the left, all while dropping her umbrella, purse, and hat. After this cut screen, the How High Can You Get screen will appear and the counter will count up from 50 to 75 meters. The third round will be another newly designed round. This stage was called the Refinery Stage. The color scheme will be primarily tan and be a combination of rivet and elevator stages. The layout of this stage will be primarily divided down the middle of the screen. In the center there will be a set of 3 elevator platforms. These platforms will rise and lower in a set pattern. The first level will have a solid girder that has a large gap in the middle of it. There will be a blue oil barrel on both sides of the gap. Although these barrels are harmless, there will be a pipe leading out from each of them that lead to the top of each structure. There will be blue sparks that will travel via these pipes from the barrel to the top of the structure. You need to jump or avoid these sparks because if one contacts you, you will lose a life. You are not able to jump across the gap between the platforms, so you need to wait for the elevator platform to line up with the girder to jump across. You also need to use the elevator to reach a second level of the structure. The second level will be similar to the first. Near the edges of the girders will be light rivets. These rivets must be removed by either crossing or jumping over them in order to end the level. The pipes that came from the barrels will also be lined up with the rivets, so you need to use caution when crossing the rivets and the gaps. There will be ladders on both sides of the rivet gaps to be able to climb up to the higher level. Level 3 will be identical to Level 2, although this level will not have any ladders to climb upward. There will also be a fireball patrolling the right side of levels 2 and 3. Level 4 will consist of 2 small girders with ladders that you need to climb to get to the 5th level. The only way to get to the 4th level will be the elevator. Once you reach the 4th level, you need to climb to the 5th level, which will consist of 2 even smaller girders in the center. There will be a fireball patrolling the leftmost set of the level 4 and 5 of the center structure. There will also be 2 platforms on the outer sides of this level. These levels will also have rivets that need to be removed in order to clear the round. In addition to the rivets, the pipes and the barrels will be in line with the rivets and gaps. You are unable to jump the gaps, so you need to reach them from the above level via the 2 ladders on each platform. The 6th level will consist of 2 more smaller girders with oil barrels on them. Once again, the barrels are not harmful. Just to the outside of these smaller platforms will be another level with rivets as well as the pipes from below. These levels will have 2 ladders each to the top level. The top outer platforms will have blue pans that will have blue flames coming out of them. You can't be on these platforms when the flames are present. Once you remove the final rivet, the sparks in the pipes and the flames will stop and it will be safe to walk on these platforms. Once you reach the top outer platform, you need to jump to the center platform. This platform will have Kong standing in the center of it. Just outside of Kong, there will be 2 ladders to the upper platform where Pauline is standing. Once you climb the final ladder, the pink heart will appear, and shortly after, Kong will jump, causing Pauline to fall into his grip and you will be knocked onto your head. After completing the 3rd round, you'll get the How High Can You Get cutscene, and Kong will be on the 4th level and the counter will count from 75 to 100 meters. Round 4 will be the conveyor belt level from the original game, although there is a new twist. Instead of needing to reach the 5th level to clear the round, you will now need to reach a small platform hauling Pauline to clear the round. In addition to this change, Kong will now be able to reach both edges of the top conveyor belt, so if you are standing on the belt when Kong reaches your end, you will lose a life. After completing the conveyor level, you will get another cutscene. This scene will have Kong sleeping and your character will light a stick on fire and light Kong's foot on fire, causing him to jump around. After the cutscene, the How High Can You Get scene will appear and Kong will be on the 5th level and the counter will count from 100 to 125 meters. Round 5 will be another newly designed playfield. The color scheme for this level will be pink. The first 3 levels will consist of conveyor belts. These conveyor belts will be split down the center of the playfield and will continually be moving toward the center. The first level of belts will have a fire between them. You need to jump over the fire, otherwise you will fall in and cost you a life. In addition to the sand tubs, the conveyor belts will also have I-beams. You must avoid these I-beams because you cannot jump over them. The first level conveyor will have a ladder at the far right side of it. Level 2 will have the ladder on the far left side of it. Once you reach the middle of the right conveyor on the 3rd level, you'll come up on a ladder to the smaller girders. To the immediate left and right of these platforms, there will be a yellow elevator platform. These platforms will be connected to each other via a cable and pulley system. This system will be weight sensitive, so if your character is on either platform, it will slowly move downward. By default, the left side will be heavier and will return to the bottom position unless the right platform is weighted down. This will be covered more in just a bit. To the right of the right elevator platform, you will see 3 smaller girders with Pauline's items. You are unable to reach these platforms by jumping the gaps, so you need to use the elevator platform to make it to the smaller platforms. To the left of the left side elevator platform will be 3 levels of 3 broken girders. The lowest level will have a larger girder in between the 2 smaller girders. The middle girder will have 2 ladders on the outside edges, and the outside girders will each have 1 ladder upward. The middle level will have the same size girders, although now each girder will only have 1 ladder upward, and the top level will have the larger girders on the 2 outside and a smaller one in the center. There will be no ladders on the top girders. There will be a fireball guarding the 2 outside sets of girders. Throughout this round, 5 pink hearts will appear one at a time. You need to collect these hearts to complete the round. Each time you collect a heart, it will appear on the right elevator platform, weighing it down slightly. The more hearts you collect, the heavier the platform will weigh, which will raise up the left platform. You need the left platform to raise up to the top, allowing you to jump to the top girder where Kong is, along with the final ladder to Pauline. No matter how many hearts are on the right platform, your character will always weigh more and will bring the platform downward. To jump to the final girder, you need to jump briefly on the elevator platform and quickly jump to the next platform, or the platform will lower so far you can't make the jump. Reaching Pauline will bring you to the How High Can You Get screen, and Kong will be on the 6th platform and the counter will count from 125 to 150 meters. Round 6 will be the elevator stage, although the playfield has been completely redesigned. Now there will be 3 elevators instead of 2. The first and the third elevator will be moving downward, and the second will be moving upward. The far left will consist of 3 platforms of girders connected by long ladders. You will need to climb to the top platform to be able to jump to the down elevator to reach the next set of platforms. These platforms will consist of 2 small girders connected by a long ladder. These platforms will have a fireball patrolling them. You need to jump onto the up elevator to reach the next set of platforms, which will be similar to the previous set, although there will not be a fireball patrolling it. You need to jump to the next down elevator to reach the next set of platforms, which will have a fireball patrolling it. You need to wait for the fireball to be on the top platform or on the way up the ladder so you can jump to the next platform. These platforms will be on the far right and will consist of 4 smaller platforms connected by 3 ladders. Once you reach the top platform, you'll need to jump a gap to the final girder that Kong is standing on before you climb up to reach Pauline. The entire time this round is being played, I-beams will be bouncing across the top girder, then fall through the gap before falling downward. Just like before, if one of these I-beams hits you, you will lose a life. Clearing the elevator realm will bring you to another cutscene, in which there is a trap set to catch Kong, set up with the pulley system, although Jumpman is asleep and Kong steals the bait. After this cutscene, the How High Can You Get screen will be displayed, and Kong will be on the 7th platform, and the counter will increase from 150 to 175 meters. The 7th round will be the final new level. This round will be the hardest to traverse. Color scheme will be primarily tan. The first level will consist of 4 broken girders. The 2 girders in the center will be slightly higher than the outside 2, and there will be an oil barrel on fire in the middle. You need to jump these gaps to make it to the far right platform, which has the ladder to the next level. Due to the size of the gap over the oil barrel, you need to time your jump perfectly, because if you jump too early, you will not clear the gap, costing you a life. Once you climb the ladder to the 2nd level, you will face another conveyor belt level, although this one will act differently than the ones you faced before. This time the conveyor belt will continuously move to the right, although now it will run and stop instead of running continuously. Above the conveyor on the left side of the screen will be a blue barrel that will move up and down. One by one, blue trays will appear at the left side of the conveyor. Once a tray is under the blue barrel, the barrel will lower and drop sand into the tray. You need to time your run past the blue barrel because if you contact it, you will lose a life. You'll also need to avoid and jump the blue trays even if they are empty, because if you touch one, you will lose a life. Once you reach the far left of the conveyor, you need to climb up to the 3rd level. This level will consist of a split girder. The gap will be where the blue barrel is from below. You need to time your jump over this gap because just like below, contacting the barrel will cost you a life. You'll pass another oil barrel, and just like before, you can safely pass through the oil barrel, but if you touch the fire, you will lose a life. Once you reach the ladder on the far right of the girder, you will need to climb to the 4th level, which will consist of 4 smaller girders with gaps between them. The gaps between the 1st and 2nd girders will have the flame from the oil barrel that you need to jump over. The next girder will be slightly higher than the one you just jumped from, and the far left girder will be on the same level as the first 2 girders. Once you reach the ladder of the far left girder, you need to climb up to the 5th level, which will consist of the same girder pattern layout as before, although now you will need to move to the right while jumping the gaps. Once you reach the ladder of the far right girder, you will need to climb up to the final level, which will consist of a short conveyor belt that will continuously be moving to the left. One by one, tubs of sand will be appearing on the right side of the conveyor and move to the left and fall downward between the lower gap into the flaming oil drum. You need to avoid these sand tubs on both the conveyors, as well as when they're falling between the gaps in the previous 2 levels. You need to jump the gap between the conveyor and the girder on the left and climb to reach Pauline to end the round. Clearing this round will bring you to the final How High Can You Get screen, and the counter will count up from 175 to 200 meters. The 8th round will be the Rivet Level from the original game, although now the fireballs will appear quicker as well as move faster. The speed of the original fireballs was the first would appear about 1 3/4 seconds after the round begins, then every 4 1/4 seconds thereafter. Now the first fireball will appear after 1 second, and then alternate 1/3 second and then 1 second. Then between the 3rd and the 4th, there will be a 3-second delay between the appearances. One big change for this round is the ability to point press by standing next to Kong, and jump and hitting the joystick has been removed, although running into Kong will still cost you a life. After you remove the final rivet, the 4 girders below Kong will fall to the lowest level, and Kong will briefly hang in midair while beating his chest before falling, although now when the top girder lines up with Pauline's girder, Kong will now grab onto it to prevent from falling. After he does this, Jumpman will jump on each of his hands, causing him to fall upside down, hitting his head, knocking him out, while you face Pauline, and the heart will appear again while the congratulation tune plays. Once the tune ends, you will have another cutscene where you have captured Kong in a cage while Jumpman and Pauline look on. This screen also has an Easter egg in which if you press the joystick up anytime while this cutscene is being played, Donkey Kong Jr. will pop the top of his head out of the oil barrel in question. Papa? Clearing round 8 will bring you back to round 1, although now at a harder difficulty. The Foundry round will now have a fireball shooting up for the fires on level 1. These fireballs will shoot up to the highest level of the moving platforms. You will need to time your jumps to avoid these fireballs because if one contacts you, you will lose a life. The girder level will play similarly to the second time of the original game, although now when the first blue barrel hits the oil barrel, 3 fireballs will fly out of it and they will land on the far left of the second, fourth, and sixth girder. Once these fireballs reach these positions, they will move just like in previous rounds. Any further barrels thrown by Kong will release only 1 fireball when it hits the oil barrel. After completing the girder level, a new cutscene will be displayed. The scene where Pauline is shown dropping her items has been replaced with a scene where Jumpman is chasing Pauline off the right side of the screen, followed by them running toward each other and bumping, knocking Jumpman down before getting back up and standing in front of Pauline. This and the other cutscenes will be played in the same order as before. The Refinery Stage will have faster blue sparks as well as having 2 more fireballs patrolling the levels. The first new fireball will be patrolling the second and third levels on the left side and the top 2 levels on the right side. The Conveyor Stage will have slightly faster and more fireballs. The Incinerator Stage will have an additional fireball patrolling the center side of the platforms of the 4th, 5th, and 6th level, as well as new positions for the pink hearts. The elevator level will be the same except for faster I-beam. The Mixer Stage will now have a fireball patrolling the 2 platforms at the top right of the playfield, as well as having the sand tubs being closer together. The Rivet Stage will play the same, although now there will be 7 fireballs instead of 5, and they will move even faster. Passing the second Rivet level will bring you to level 3. Now the Foundry round will have 2 fireballs shooting out from the fires at the bottom. The Conveyor level will have an additional fireball every time you reach a new level until level 5, where there will be 5 fireballs. In addition, all fireballs will be moving as fast as they will go for the rest of the game. Also, the bonus items left by Pauline will be placed in different places each level. A few other small changes for this game include the scoring display will now have 7 digits as opposed to 6, as well as when you jump an enemy or collect an item, the score displayed will rise upward as opposed to being static as in the original game. The biggest change is the level 22 bug has been repaired. Now when you reach level 22, you will get the correct bonus of 8,000 points as opposed to the 100 or 4,000 points as it happens in the original game. Also, due to the difficulty of this game, the default setting is 6 lives opposed to 3. Scoring for the game is as follows. You'll earn 100 points for jumping an enemy item, 300 points for jumping 2 items, and 500 points for jumping 3 items, although due to a glitch, the game will display 800 points when jumping 3 items. You earn 300 points for smashing the orange barrels, and 300, 500, or 800 points for smashing all other items. You'll earn 300, 500, or 800 points for collecting items left by Pauline, and you'll earn 100 points for removing rivets and collecting each pink heart. Just like the original Donkey Kong, each round will begin with a predetermined number of bonus points. All rounds for level 1 will begin with 5,000 points, rounds for level 2 will begin with 6,000 points, rounds for level 3 will begin with 7,000 points, and rounds for level 4 and above will begin with 8,000 points. Clearing the round will award whatever points are left on the bonus timer. I really enjoy playing this game and highly recommend playing it whether in an arcade setting or on an emulator. I like this game more than the original Donkey Kong, but not as much as Donkey Kong Jr., so Donkey Kong 2 Jumpman Returns leaps into the 16th position overall. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any games you'd like me to review, please leave a message below or on my homepage. Please remember to hit like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned to new videos every Sunday.